Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Not working. There we go. Well, you know, there's some days I think I should just get off the internet. And anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet and also known as the Last Boomer. Yes, it's birthday week. Even though technically my birthday's is next week, I'm not going to be here next week. So we're going to celebrate this week. Friday will be the big birthday show. Big Q&A show on Friday. Where we'll probably just talk about stuff that you want to talk about. So start thinking about that and get your questions ready. And I know, AD, you got tons of questions, but I want to see some of the rest of you joining the party. But AD will outshine you no matter what. Anyway, it's Monday, the 25th of March, 2024, also known as Metal Monday. And, I didn't reset the donation thing. Hang on a second. Let me fix that because it is just one of those things. What the hell am I doing here? That's not what I want to do. Let's try this. We're going to set a donation goal. It's birthday week. So let's put it up there a little bit. I just feel like maybe, especially since I have to, go on vacation. What is this? I see. I got to end that. And we're going to donation goal for birthday week. I should just do the whole week, but I'm not going to. We'll just stick to we're not going to do it. We're just going to do regular old, the same old thing we did last week. 26, 2024. There we go. Now we got one. There we go. So our goal today is 60. We'll keep it simple. Keep it light. Why didn't that work? What the hell? Did I not do the button right? I did not. Damn it. Sorry. You see, I get here early and I still mess it up. So anyway, hope you all are having a good morning. My weekend was pretty, how do I describe my weekend? 2024. Does that work? Hey, look at that. Looky there. All right, let's go. All right, anyway, lots to talk about today because there's a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend. My weekend was pretty mellow. I just, Lady Boomer was in New York and she got back on Sunday. It was great. We got to go hang out and had some cocktails in the afternoon and just hung out and watched some TV. But my weekend was basically cleaning the kitchen and doing stuff around the house and I don't know, just being me. But let's you can't hear me now, right? Yes, you can. Anyway, let's just say hi and get it going because there's so much to get through. And some of the stuff is just annoying. But I did in the city of Minneapolis may no longer have Uber and Lyft soon. So that's my big story. Now, it may not be a big story to you, but the reason I want to make that the main story is because it may also come to a city near you. I know that in other places like California, Seattle, that we have an instance of something similar. So just showing you what the new thing is that the people who have such great intentions do to mess up other people's lives for no apparent reason. Okay. I don't know that the people who drive Uber and Lyft, who drive a lot Uber and Lyft, give a crap about what they're trying to do. I mean, because look, I'll talk to you about that later. I'll talk about it later. Let me say hi first. That's what I should do because I don't want to get on a rant now. So let's say hi to everybody. First in chat over on Rumble is Mr. Avocados Diablo. He gets the bell, of course. Thank you for being Johnny on the spot. Also, good morning to Jimmy Das Hotep. And our good friend TC is in the house over on Rumble. Nice to see you all there. Oh, I got this enable long history, enable harsh history. I don't know what that means, but I said it there. And then, oh shoot, it's allergy season. You might have to bear with me for a few weeks because I don't take allergy medicine year round, and I just started my regimen yesterday. And even we got a ton of snow, by the way. Last night. Now we're supposed to have this big snowstorm that came through, but we only got a smidgen. that's a technical measurement. We got a smidgen on Friday and Saturday, and then last night it kind of dumped a little bit. Some heavy wet snow that kind of makes great snowballs, but it's already melting. My driveway was cleaned off already, and I feel good about life. And in Minnesota, when it snows, it doesn't stop anything. When I left for work at roughly 3 a.m. this morning, snow on the streets. When I came back from work, completely clear. It was amazing. We're amazing at clearing snow. Anyway, let's say hi to those in Rumble. First in chat on Rumble, or excuse me, on YouTube. Wait, is this right? Is this correct? Mister, those ain't real dudes got the bell. Way to go. That's some work to beat AD. Of course, AD knows that I'm usually late, and so plans on that. And so, and on Rumble, I couldn't get the thing to work, so I had to redo it, and so he was first over there. Anyway, good morning. Also, good morning, Kara Soldier. JP is in the house. Also, AD, Avocados Diablos here, of course. Good morning also to TC, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Tyre Alex. Oh, wait a minute. Tyre Alexander, the Gentleman Lynch. Good morning. Nice to have you back. Have you been gone? Like I was thinking I would start singing that. What's that song that who was the American Idol winner that sang "Since You've Been Gone, I'm gonna breathe for the first time"? I don't know what that song is. I don't know if that's an appropriate song. Isn't that a breakup song? Hello, Green Badger Outdoors over on Rumble, by the way. Also, good morning, Patio Furniture. Good morning to, sorry, I'm playing with a cup. I've got my cup of reparations, but it's in one of these kind of cups, this tumbler thingy that my son got me from, where did he get this from? He got this from Fossil Trace Golf Club, somewhere out in Colorado. And the coffee's good this morning. Also, good morning, I'm trying to see if there's anyone else here. I'm scrolling. Is anyone else here? Oh, James PFP, nice to have you back. What's up? No Marty Stay. Where did I say I was going? I don't know. Zed the Snarky's here. And Frank Cap, good morning. And oh, there's Mike Savage, Blarg. I hadn't said Blarg yet. I can't believe it. And I scrolled too. Okay, there we go. Now I've got the rest of the chat here. That looks like, oh, James Colley's in the house, and Plague Trucker Zach. Nice to see you, brother. All right. Well, welcome back to all of you who are the occasionals, and then also the regulars. I mean, you're all regulars. Everyone here's a regular, but some are occasional regulars, and some are super regular. They took the. They have a good regimen of X-Lax and Pepto. Anyway, let's get it going. You said you were considering leaving the interwebs. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, that's another story too. There may be some changes to my schedule. We'll figure that out and figure out how I'm going to navigate that. So anyway, let's get into the news because we got a lot. We've got a ton of it. Things trending on the internet. It was Palm Sunday this weekend. Oh, by the way, you are the sponsors of the show. Do me a favor. If you haven't already done it, share the stream. And I mean, share it like you were in kindergarten and the teacher was about to come out with the ruler. Okay. Share the stream. Okay. What did I just do? Oh, there we go. Share the stream, and hit the like button sometime in the show. That's the way to sponsor the show. And then also you can sponsor the show. It's somewhere. Oh, well, here, let me do this. I'll do this. There we go. Right there, pdognight.live. That's the best place to do super chats for this show. You can write more for less, or you could just give more, and it still most of it comes to me instead of giving it to YouTube or Rumble. But I'm fine with super chats. I'm fine with Rumble rants. I'm fine with Venmo. I'm fine with Cash App. All that stuff's in the description. or on your screen somewhere where you can see it already. So please share generously because of issues. Okay, let's get into the news. Things trending. Palm Sunday is trending because obviously it's Easter week. It's Holy Week. So Palm Sunday is trending. Holy Week is trending. Hosanna is trending. Hosanna in the highest. But the one thing that is trending that is related to this, and that I didn't know until I read it, Christ is King is trending. But not necessarily because it's Holy Week, because a lot of people are putting Christ as King on their Twitter feeds and bios and things like that. But apparently there are people now saying that putting Christ as King on, or typing it onto X, the app formerly known as Twitter, is anti-Semitic or Islamophobic or something like that. It's like, I don't get it. Christians can't say Christ is King. Now I get it that some people have been, posting, like when Candace Owen posted it, and I'm kind of going side eye on Candace Owens. Although, we know her deal with the Daily Wire is kind of messed up, and that I'm not going to get into that because I don't like Candace. I've never been a believer in Candace, although even if she says things that are correct, but she goes off the rails every once in a while, and I just go, you're just talking about, but I want to talk about her. Anyway, so someone in here said this, here's Lauren Chen. What would she used to be called? Roaming millennial or something like that? She said, to anyone saying that people will be turned away from Christianity by people proclaiming Christ is King, and she asks, are Muslims ashamed of venerating Muhammad? Do they keep quiet about their belief in the supremacy of the Quran for fear of offending people? Of course not. But there's other people down here. Now, let's see. What did Boroshenko say here? I got to say this tweet. She said, how long until there's an article on the Daily Wire asserting that saying Christ is King is a dog whistle, as the same as saying Hitler should have finished the job? Oh my God. Was there an article in the Daily Wire about that? Oh my goodness. So anyway, this person says the fact this Christ the King discourse went down on Palm Sunday of all days is an extraordinary twist of irony and fate. This is the precise day Christ officially made his kingdom known. 600 years before Jesus Christ's ministry, the prophet of Zechariah wrote a very specific prophecy concerning the arrival of the coming Messianic King. In Zechariah 9:9, he wrote, rejoice greatly, daughter Zion, shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. Zechariah wrote this prophecy so the Jews would be able to recognize their Messianic king when he arrived. When Jesus Christ made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey during Palm Sunday, it was in fulfillment of this prophecy that he fulfilled Zechariah's prophecy and made himself known as king. So there's more to this, but I'm not going to read the whole thing because I'm not here to prophesize. I'm just saying, if you're a Christian and you say Christ is king, it doesn't mean that, it's not about Christian nationalism, or it's not about being a Nazi, or it's not about any of that. Just people, but Christ is King was trending worldwide. Candace Owens, by the way, said this. The media's attempt to cross him again and failed. Oh my goodness. So anyway, and again, there's people saying that it's anti-Semitic to put up Christ is King. Here it is. I understand the impulse to do things you believe in, particularly when you're told you must not. This is what normies hear when they hear Christ is King. It's hard to do stuff that works because sometimes it takes a minute for the results. So this for saying Christ, they're saying you hear Christ is King, you nasty Jew. No, it's fucking Jesus. I said, oh my God, I did twice in a half a second. It's Easter season. It's Palm Sunday. It's Holy Week. Christ is King is a Christian thing that people say. Hello, Maddie. How you doing? And GDSOB, Nomads in the house. Good to see you all here. So, apparently there was a big kerfluffle about people saying Christ is King. Now here it is. Oh, here's Andrew Klavan from the Daily Wire. And he's saying Christ is King is an anti-Semitic dog whistle.
Grown. You know, when I did this, by the way, the priest who baptized me said, you know, Christians won't accept you. You'll still be a Jew. And I said, well, I am. That's my race. I'm a Jew. I'm proud of my race. It's a great race. It's done many, many great things, including write the Bible. And, you know, I am a Jew. But that hasn't happened at all. Christians have welcomed me with open arms, except this Christ the King anti-Semitic crowd. Christ is the King, and one day every knee will bow and recognize it, because he's not just my King, he's King of the universe. But when you use that phrase to mean that God has abandoned his chosen people, the Jews.
Wait. Does he really think that that's what people's doing? Now, again, a part of it is him and, the Daily Wire and Candace have split ways. And so Candace has been posting this recently, and she's teeters on that, anti-Jew stuff, and I'm not, but Poroshenko hit it on the head, and I am not a fan of Poroshenko either, but anyway.
Through whom he came into this world incarnate, and that he's broken his promises, his covenant with the Jews. You are quoting scripture like Satan does in the Bible. You are quoting scripture to your purposes, and that to me is specifically wicked. When you spit that phrase at Ben Shapiro, my friend Ben Shapiro, and I understand this. All of you who love Ben, and I love Ben, and Jordan Peterson, you all want to see them find Jesus because you know what joy and freedom that gives you, and you certainly feel that it alters your relationship with God. But when I think about this, to be honest with you, and I know some people will disagree with this, but life is not a game show where you guess the name of God and you get to go to heaven. Honk, yes, the name is Jesus. I look at Ben's life and I think if Ben were to embrace Jesus Christ, it would cause devastation to his family, to the people who love him, to the people who listen to him, to his position in the world. I just have this feeling that God has put this guy where he wants him to do what he wants him to do. And as you know, I feel that, the Jews...
Okay, so anyway, I don't need to play anymore. So apparently, it's Christ is King trending because it was Palm Sunday, but people are saying that it's... Oh, let's see what Andrew Tate says. He's one of the well-known Muslims. As a Muslim, it warms my heart to see the resurgence of spirited Christian declarations. Christ is King, and I pray Christianity regains its strength and protects its societies against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. Okay, that's interesting. And in here, this is probably if you're going to put it out there, put it out this way. Christ is love, Christ is peace, Christ is justice, Christ is wisdom, Christ is God, Christ is King. So... And our Jewish friends on here are making fun, like Viva Fry making fun of Andrew Klavan for saying Christ is King is anti-Semitic. So that was the kerfluffle about that over the weekend. And that's all I got to say about that in the immortal words of Forrest Gump. Moving on, also trending, Happy Holly. Now, not Happy Holidays, but Happy Holy. Isn't that the Hindu celebration where they throw like dyed dust at each other and they end up all it's like I don't understand the holiday itself, but it is kind of cool to watch all these people throwing I don't know it's kind of like dye dust. I don't know what the hell it is, what they use, but they end up looking like this at the end of the party, and it seems like a hell of a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, in one place, I probably talked about this Friday. A large portion of that dust got caught on fire, and injured like 500 people. Didn't kill them, obviously, but the dust was all up the air, and apparently it was combustible, and they all caught on fire. That's why I'm worried about this dude playing with fire around the dust. But maybe they had the wrong kind of dust or whatever it's called. It's dry paint. Okay, it's dry paint. Thank you. Hello, Anna Lynn, by the way, and Rod Line. What's up? So. Anyway, so that's trending because that was over the weekend. Saw pretty cool. Someone was explaining it on on TV the other day when I was watching, because I was watching basketball, and they had a split between, and so there was a news program, and they were talking about this holiday. So it's actually, I mean, it's kind of cool to see, but I'm not. Just be careful if you're in the dust to not light any matches or lighters. Moving on, also trending, Dave Calhoun is trending. This is breaking news this morning. Boeing CEO David Calhoun is stepping down. Now it says Calhoun was continuing to lead Boeing through the end of 2024, the company said. So Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun will step down at the end of the year, the company said in an announcement. That's a breaking news story. When I had it, let's see if they've updated. Let me refresh and see if this actually becomes a story. Yes, it does. So the move comes amid a fallout from a high-profile safety failure on board an Alaska Airlines flight in January when a door plug blew out of Boeing's 737 MAX 9 aircraft while the plane was in flight. In a statement on Monday, Calhoun acknowledged the challenges faces Boeing. He says, "The eyes of the world are on us, and I know we will come through this moment a better company. We will remain squarely focused on completing the work we have done together to return our company's stability after extraordinary challenges of the past few years, with safety and quality at the forefront of everything we do." Board Chair Larry Kellner, a board member for nearly 15 years, plans to forego nomination for an additional term at the company's annual shareholder meeting this spring, Boeing said. So Boeing executives are bailing. Should we change the name of Boeing to bailing? Let's see. Stephen Mollenkopf, former CEO and chipmaker of chipmaker Qualcomm, will immediately take over as Boeing board chair and lead the search for a new chief executive, Boeing added. So, yeah, they've been having their problems, and now some of the Boeings are bailing. Also trending, ivermectin was trending over the weekend. It's not trending today, but it was trending over the weekend. And that's because the FDA was ordered by court to remove misinformation about ivermectin being a horse drug. So this is kind of crazy. So remember when they were talking about ivermectin back during the, Asian lung flu? Hello, AWOL. During the Wuhan lung flu, crisis that it turned out shitty. A lot of people perished, but also not as shitty as they thought it would be. Anyway, I had two stories on this. Oh, I guess I don't. Anyway, one of the consequences, legal instruction recently noted the anniversary of 15 days to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus, the pathogen at the center of the COVID pandemic. One of the consequences of this action was to use science to force social media platforms to remove posts and tweets that challenged the assertions of Big Pharma and the bureaucrats connected to it. Thus dawned the era of misinformation. The era of misinformation. And any tweet, post, meme that challenged any aspect of the preferred COVID narrative was targeted for removal. Furthermore, those who made the post were mocked. I know this is not on the screen, but there, let's do that. Those who made those posts were mocked, throttled, and sometimes completely silenced. Well, now it appears one agency overseeing public health matters put it out its own actual misinformation. One of the memorable examples of the government's attack campaign focused on information related to ivermectin. This particular anti-parasite drug won a Nobel Prize and had decades of human data showing that it was safe and effective. Some physicians reported good results when using it to treat patients with the Wuhan lung flu. So, this is how the Food and Drug Administration chose to respond with this ad. I don't know if you can see it. "You are not a horse." Seriously, y'all, stop it. Because they were pushing the horse paste thing. Remember that? Oh, how do I get the hell out of that? So they were pushing the horse paste thing. So anyway, 3 doctors fought back on this actual misinformation and took the FDA to court. The doctors prevailed, and now a federal court has ordered the FDA. Uncle Bad Touch, holy smokes, where you been? We know who you are.
Come on, man.
a federal court has now ordered the agency to remove its attacks on ivermectin in use in humans. Where's this from? This CBS? Oh, that's from Newsweek. So here's the article in Newsweek. FDA settles lawsuit over ivermectin in social media posts. They have agreed to delete and never publish several social media posts suggesting that ivermectin, a drug that some doctors use to treat the stupid 19, is for animals and not humans. While the FDA still does not approve of using ivermectin to treat the stupid 19, it settled Thursday a lawsuit brought by 3 doctors who sued it, as well as the Department of Health and Human Services and its Secretary Xavier Becerra and the FDA Secretary Robert Califf. All parties have settled. The lawsuit filed on June 2nd, 2022 was brought by doctors Mary Talley Bowden. Okay, we don't care about that. Let's just get to the meat of the article, which is right here. They have agreed to delete and never republish several social media posts suggesting that ivermectin, I said that. While the FDA still does not approve, the lawsuit filed on June 2nd, 2022 was brought by doctors Mary Talley Bowden, Paul Merrick, and Robert Apter, each of whom claimed the FDA was interfering with their ability to practice medicine. We should be cheering this. Yes, we should. Oops. One cheer again. So anyway, the case was initially dismissed on grounds the FDA had sovereign immunity. A government agency has sovereign immunity through a U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Though a U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit reversed the lower court's decision, saying that the FDA is not a physician. Oh, snap. So this was it. This was, I'll bring it. Oh, there we go. Here's an example of what the FDA was putting out. So this is the shot again. This ad, right? This tweet right here, because they were lying with the horse paste thing again too. So here's the shot. You're not a horse. You're not a cow. Seriously, y'all stop it. And then the chaser is FDA settles ivermectin case, agrees to remove controversial stop it post. So FTG to the the FDA. Now, also according to the agreement, the case has been dismissed with prejudice. Within 21 days, the FDA must remove why you should not use ivermectin to treat and prevent COVID-19 and delete related posts on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook. The damages the FDA inflicted will linger, but future patients are now protected from one meaningful government intrusion into their medical care. Last year, the Texas Medical Board filed charges against Bowden, alleging she violated standards of care prescribing medication for a patient with whom she did not have a prior physician-patient relationship and without conducting an exam. TMB also accused Bowden of unethical behavior and dissemination of misinformation. Initially scheduled for a public hearing in April 2024, Bowden says the state has moved the case to private mediation. So she's been tweeting about it. FDA loses its war on ivermectin and agrees to remove all social media posts, consumer, blah, 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 blah. And good for her. It's amazing that the FDA thinks they can out-doctor doctors when a lot of the FDA are just bureaucrats with, that are like the Reverend, what's his name? Reverend Anthony Fauci. All right, let's move on. Things trending also on Twitter. Don Corleone is trending because the people on the hate Donald Trump train, they are just reveling in the fact that Letitia James might be able to take some of his properties today, which is, I am just, hello, Peter Yeep, how you doing? Why are you putting Rumble links in my chat? I don't know, but welcome to the show. Here, let's see what this, I want to see what this link is you put here. Well, no, we'll do it after this. Anyway, so they're out memeing Don Corleone, saying that Donald Trump can't afford to pay his bill, whatever. And so let's see. Today on 50 Shades Grey, Don Corleone thinks his bug-written glitter palace is worth almost $2 billion. Well, now he must be wrong. It's not worth $2 billion, but it's not worth $18 million either. People must continue. So he put this post Donald Trump put on X, or not X, the what's it called? Truth Social, the $6 billion thing that they're buying. People must continue to speak of and remember that Enmoron's number of 450 million for doing absolutely nothing wrong is a big part of the crime being perpetrated against me by crooked Joe Biden and his political hacks and thugs. Enmoron's fraudulent valuation of Mar-a-Lago for 18 million when it's worth 50 to 100 times that amount is another piece of election interference hoax. It's all giant and totally illegal witch hunt against Biden's political opponent. Now, Donald Trump has a tendency to overstate things, to exaggerate things, whatever. But so 50 to 100 times, maybe he didn't do the math when he said that. But then again, 100 times, what would that be? 1.8 billion? Yeah, it's not worth 1.8 billion. But it could be worth up to $1 billion based on the land, whatever. But there's a lot of use issues, whatever. But anyway, so actually, for once, it is a clever hashtag from the idiots at the idiot half of X, aka Twitter, whatever. But let's talk about this a little bit because this Trump is broke hashtag and things, they're saying that Trump is not really a billionaire because of this. So this article in Human Events, by Austin Peterson, Trump is broke, and no, the rule of law is broke in New York. I agree that they're not. Look, this is one of those cases that I don't know how it could ever survive an appeal. And the only reason it's surviving an appeal so far is because the judge basically poisoned the well, or poison pill, more like it, not poison the well. As far as Donald Trump being able to pay this, judgment or bond, and it makes it almost impossible for him to appeal it. But they're working through that, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, this guy says, my fellow libertarians are fond of saying that everything the state says is a lie, and everything it has it has stolen. If there's a case where that's true, if there's any case where that's true, it's in former President Donald Trump's New York civil trial judgment, where a corrupt judge has seen fit to fine the former president $454 million for allegedly inflating the value of his properties when securing a loan. I say allegedly because Trump's legal team is headed to the appellate court of New York, where attorney William Scharf believes they will prevail. Still, time is ticking. As New York Attorney General, Letitia James is still drooling over the opportunity to seize Trump's assets if he can't come up with the bond requirement to prevent this blatant theft, which this is blatant theft. There is no injured party, and Letitia, basically just all this, this is a fine that's being paid to the state, not paid to an injured party. If they were serious about this fine, they would say, okay, you owe Deutsche Bank $454 million. Or this bank. It's total $454 million. But none of those banks sued Donald Trump for fraud. This is at best, well, it's victimless, first of all, because there are no victims, not a single victim. And this is just to get Trump and try to destroy his business and his whatever livelihood and his campaign, for that matter. Anyway, Letitia James is drooling over the opportunity to seize Trump's assets if he can't come up with a bond requirement to prevent this blatant theft. Simpering leftists on MSNBC are drooling over the opportunity to put a padlock over former President Trump's prized Trump Tower. And that's the only reason I think Letitia is going to do this is because of she's vindictive against Trump. Her whole campaign was to be vindictive against Donald Trump. Trump has revealed the outrageous demands imposed on him by a biased judge in New York. The exorbitant judgment forced upon him by a state judge is so astronomical that even reputable companies refuse to accept real estate as collateral. Instead, they demand an unprecedented sum in cash to secure the bond. This unjust requirement would force a private enterprise like the Trump Organization to produce a staggering $1 billion in cash an amount far beyond its means. It's clear that this is nothing but a politically motivated assault on Trump and his business empire. And then they go into Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary's. We've watched that over and over. But this judgment against Trump is wildly excessive. None of the business partners suffered financial loss or accused him of deceit through incorrect financial statements. No trial witness testified that his supposed misrepresentations affected loan terms and prices, nor was there any evidence of him profiting from alleged deception. Yet Arthur Engoron and Moron ordered him to forfeit $355 million in ill-gotten gains based on speculative calculations by an expert hired by Ms. James. However, banks confirmed they didn't change loan terms, casting doubt on the accuracy of this assessment. And then they got into the Ted Lieu's Trump is broke hashtag that trended, and anything negative Donald Trump's hashtags will trend because they have this army of the Democrats and Biden, whatever, have this army of basically paid Twitter accounts that all, piggyback off each other. Now, Jen Grun unjustly piled on alleged profits from properties Trump supposedly gained through false financial statements without concrete evidence linking the two. Additionally, he imposed a prejudgment interest from the beginning of the investigation. That's the other part. He imposed the interest in advance on this $355 million. Like, what? He imposed prejudgment interest from the beginning of the investigation, essentially holding Trump accountable for actions he hadn't even been formally accused of. And add to that fact that interest is piling up every day that goes by. These decisions undoubtedly provide ample grounds for a robust appeal, but good luck getting any justice in the Empire State. Regardless of one's views on Trump's conduct, fundamental principles of justice demand due process, including the right to appeal. However, it appears that Attorney General James is bent on expediting Trump's downfall, as she unabashedly promised during her 2018 campaign. This flagrant disregard for procedural fairness should raise serious concerns for anyone engaged in business affairs in New York, given the potential for similarly heavy-handed tactics from the Attorney General's office. So it is the ultimate of a kangaroo court. So we'll just moving on. Now, here's interesting from legal insurrection on this case also. What's going on in New York State with the weaponization of prosecutors' offices, both criminally and civilly, is really troubling. This is from William Jacobson, who runs Legal Insurrection, and I'm not going to play it, but it's a recording of a transcript of him. Let's see, he's with Ansari. Who's Ansari here? Oh, here we go. I appeared on Legal Lowdown with Imran H. Ansari, Esquire, to talk about Donald Trump's various prosecutions and lawsuit. We touched on themes of prosecutorial abuse, similar to what I wrote about in Get Out of New York If You Can. So I highly recommend you read that. It's only an hour long, or read it, listen to it. It's just a little like a podcast type thing, and it'll be in the links today at the end of the show. All right, let's see what else. Oh, kind of on this same vein, Fani Willis says she's not embarrassed by anything she's done. She's unapologetic and determined to proceed with the case against Trump. So this is the Daily Caller. She said on Saturday that she was not embarrassed by her relationship with fellow attorney Nathan Wade and is determined to proceed with her case against former President Donald Trump. Now, it's interesting. So she is not embarrassed by her affair with a married man who she was having. They proved that there were some. Okay, proved that there were some alleged booty calls long before she hired him to be the prosecutor. They proved that she was paying him a hell of a lot more than the other lawyers on the case. They proved a whole bunch of stuff, right? And Fani Willis is not embarrassed by any of that. Well, this judgment that McAfee did, where he said, one or the other have to be removed from the case, so they remove Wade. Okay, they removed Wade from the case, but said Fani Willis could stay on. But the reason they removed Wade was because of the appearance of improprieties. Okay, it being improper. Well, how can one of the people in the case be improper and the other not? Well, the development on this right now is this decision by McAfee is being appealed, but McAfee would have had to sign off on a certificate to be able for them to appeal his judgment. He did it immediately. Why? Because he knows he's full of it. He knows his judgment was nuts, and probably knows that the appeals court will remove Fani Willis from this case, but he doesn't want to be held accountable for it. This was a save his ass move. He knew that if he made the judgment to take a black woman off this super, super duper important, really, really perfect case, he would catch hell because he is a white man.
You're fucking a white male!
He's a white man taking a black woman down. And that would not go over well in the media. So, I got a feeling, that the court's gonna take her off the case, and so on and so forth. So there you go. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. All right, real quick. Thank you, JB, dropping a $10 Canadian in the tip jar. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Let's see. Get an old lady to hand them out $1 bill at a time. If my math is correct, this will take about 6,000 days to reach $500 million if worked 24/7 and no breaks. Well, yeah, that's funny. And thank you for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. Yeah, the problem is they gave a ridiculous deadline, which in fact, isn't that deadline today? Today's the day, right? The deadline for coming up with the $454 million. That's adding the interest in advance. And they're charging interest per day from the start of the investigation. They added interest from the start of the investigation, not from the time of the judgment, but from the start of the investigation, which they're counting as so it's kind of weird. How could you charge interest for something that you haven't made the judgment for yet? So they basically made interest in arrears plus ongoing interest. Obviously the whole purpose of this is to destroy Donald Trump. So anyway, Fani Willis is we'll see what happens in the appeals court. I think they're going to take Fani Willis off of this also. Also, in just more Trump legal news. Oh, what is this? Oh, no. Oh, so this will be our last Donald Trump thing. Apparently, people are mad at Jack Nicklaus, the golf legend, the Golden Bear, right? Apparently, he was at some... apparently, Donald Trump won the club championship at his course in Florida. I don't know what's going on, but everyone on the left is just Jack Nicklaus is a traitor, Jack Nicklaus is an insurrectionist, Jack Nicklaus this, Here, Ron Filipowski, this guy, he's one of these lefty nutbags. Trump with Jack Nicklaus as Trump receives his awards as club champion and senior club champion at some golf course. Okay, here it is.
He won 18 majors, and his seconds and thirds and top tens are at a level that nobody's ever seen before. So it's an honor to have you, Jack. Thank you so much. Thank you. So
they're mad that Jack Nicklaus was there. Last night, talking to Jack Nicklaus at the awards dinner where Trump will receive trophies as club champion and senior club champion. And there's a lot of people saying Donald Trump cheats at golf. I don't know. But this breaks my heart. I am a huge golf fan, but honestly, I didn't know until today that Jack Nicklaus was a red hatter. Arnie will be the king forever. Whatever, you jack off. So anyway, a lot of people are mad at Jack Nicklaus. Disgusting. Jack Nicklaus praising a guy who cheats at golf and everything else. I don't know. But these people are mad. Mad. Saw maggots Jack Nicklaus trending. I thought he died. Oh my gosh. It's funny. They get mad when, how they get mad when Trump said something about, I think he used the word vermin when he was describing some of these really nasty, not all of the illegal immigrants are nasty people, but there are certainly enough of them to say that there are some that you could call, that Trump called them vermin, right? And he's saying, oh man, that's so authoritarian, that's so Hitlerist, that's so fascist to call people vermin. And these fuckers call anyone who supports Donald Trump maggots. M-A-G-A-T-S. Gee, I'm trying to figure out the distinction between the two. So if he says vermin, but all you motherfuckers are saying maggots, as if that's that's kind of a love tap of insults, right? Is that all that is? Show some consistency, motherfuckers. Thank you, JB. Dropping another 5 Canadian in the tip jar. Thank you very much. JB says, these people are morons. Next time I argue a contract, I will ask I get paid a penny a day that doubles every day for 100 days. Yes, there you go. That's what you should do. I think you're right. This is a judge too who's saying that. It's amazing. Trump lives in their mind rent free. Yes, he does. That's right. So anyway, all right, let's move on. Also trending, Dark Brandon. Now some people are, whenever Dark Brandon starts trending, it's about that's Joe Biden, right? The Let's Go Brandon thing. They've been trying to turn it into something cool and call him Dark Brandon, give him some glowing eyes and shit, a la superhero movies. So Dark Brandon is trending, and somebody put this video of him. I can't do it with the music of like 3 minutes of Joe Biden stumbling around, not knowing where to go. But then someone else put this video. Now, this is clever. I don't agree with it, but this is clever. You got this eagle flying, and what do they catch? Oh my God, it's Donald Trump. My goodness. Calling it Dark Brandon Eagle. Okay. Anyway, and Viva Fry here. Oh, look, Dark Brandon is spreading more lies through his surrogates. Your parents must be proud. So he said, let's see, Seung Min Kim said during a fundraiser in Houston while on a riff about Trump's handling of COVID-19, Joe Biden asked the donor crowd, remember when he said to inject bleach? Oh, that's a blatant lie. For some chuckles, Biden continues, I think he must have done it. Crowd erupts in laughter. And then right here, somebody down. Now, wait a minute, full context of those Trump bleach comments. I don't think I'm not sure. He's the White House reporter for the AP. Let's see. Whose fact check did he put up for this? Let's see what this is. Let's look at this fact check. Fact check. Did Trump tell people to drink bleach to kill the coronavirus? Well, we all know the answer to that is he did not. But Biden told the joke anyway. Joe Biden on COVID-19, Donald Trump said that maybe if you drank bleach, you'll be okay. PolitiFact's ruling, because it's PolitiFact, right? PolitiFact. Their ruling is mostly false. Mostly false. Well, let's see how they said. Here's why. Joe Biden criticized President Trump for handling a coronavirus pandemic, saying during a speech on the economy that Trump's had given up trying to manage a crisis he's ill-equipped to solve. Well, that's false. He followed everything that Dr. Anthony Fauci said. So, and he said, and when it comes to COVID-19, after months of doing nothing, oh my God. Months of doing nothing. You know what? Okay, there's a timeline that's pretty obvious for this, right? China
is asshole.
Admitted that there was a virus going through China and injuring many people. They didn't admit it till December of 2019. Okay, and still there was no. In fact, I think it was might have been December 31st that they finally admitted there's something going on, right? Now, there had been rumors about it. There's been people talking about it, but whatever. On mid-January, Donald Trump had a task force of people sitting around a table talking about this virus, and they were experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci and Birx and all those motherfuckers, right? And they were making decisions and informing people and whatnot immediately after they heard about this. What do you mean he did nothing for months? And then on March 16th, they did 15 days to slow the spread? When he says after months of doing nothing other than predicting the virus disappear, whatever. Or maybe if you drank bleach, you may be okay. No, he never said that. So here's the rest of this article, just to remind you of the timeline. Anyway, Trump spoke about the role he thought disinfectants could play in tackling an infection caused by the virus. No, he was talking about light therapy, which some company was working on. But anyway, what role he thought disinfectants could play in tackling an infection caused by the virus during a now infamous April 23rd briefing, but he didn't say that people should drink bleach. So it is totally false, 100% false. What do you mean mostly false? In fact, he didn't even mention the word bleach. A reporter asking questions said something about that. He said, no, that's not what I'm telling you. His comments came after William Byron, the Undersecretary of Science and Technology at the Department of Homeland Security, presented a study that found sun exposure and cleaning agents like bleach can kill the virus when it lingers on surfaces. Trump remarked on the effectiveness of those methods and wondered if they could help address infections in the human body. His full comments, quote, a question that probably some of you are thinking if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposedly we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which there was experiments on that, which you can do either through the skin or some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting, right? And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in 1 minute. And there is a way we can do something like that by injections inside or almost a cleaning, because you see it gets in the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'll be interesting to check that. Did they say that now? Anywhere? Do you say he's saying to drink bleach? No, he's not. And then where he finished goes on. So it'll be interesting to check that, so that you're going to have to use medical doctors with, but sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute is pretty powerful. Nothing about bleach, nothing about injecting things yourself, nothing about drinking anything. Later, Trump clarified his comments after a reporter asked Brian whether disinfectants could actually be injected into COVID-19 patients. And his answer, it wouldn't be through injections, almost a cleaning and sterilization of an area. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but it certainly has a big effect if it's on a stationary object. So they're talking about on surfaces. Trump did not explicitly recommend ingesting a disinfectant like bleach. So why is this mostly false? Nevertheless, his remarks led some companies and state agencies to issue warnings about ingesting disinfectants. The maker of Lysol said in a statement that under no circumstances should its products be used in the human body. That's funny. He didn't say that. The Biden campaign did not respond to a request for comment about what evidence the former president relied on when he claimed the president's suggestion Americans drink bleach to combat the virus. Because all the idiots on the left were saying, oh, he told you to drink bleach. Never did. Lysol, putting out the statement, should never be put in the body. Didn't say that. Our ruling Biden said Trump said drinking bleach could help fight the coronavirus. Trump did not specifically recommend ingesting disinfection. Not specifically. He didn't recommend it at all. He was talking about research, but he did express interest in exploring whether disinfectants could be applied to the site of a coronavirus infection inside the body, such as the lungs. We rate Biden's claim mostly false. It's 100% false. It's a blatant lie, and these motherfuckers just won't let it go, because they can say it over and over. They can tell this lie with impunity because some idiots will believe he said that. There you go. Moving on. Also trending. All Senate Dems is trending because all the Senate Democrats apparently voted against stopping the Biden administration charter flights for illegal aliens. Now, this is interesting, and it's being repeated over and over again, right? All Senate Democrats voted to fund flying illegals onto American soil, indefensible. All Senate Democrats. A lot of people talking about this, right? So here's the bill that they were, or here's the story of what they were talking about. All Senate Democrats vote against borrowing taxpayer funds to fly illegal immigrants to U.S. towns. Now, they're not talking about like the ones that they've already processed and brought in, and they're already in the country, right? They're not talking about those.
Well, President Biden, about an hour ago, signed a massive spending package.
Okay, hang on. It's one of these stupid ones. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do something about this. Give me 1 second. Here it goes. Before I do that, thank you, Jimmy Dice Hotep. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day, which is exclusive to Streamlab donors. Media, Jimmy Dice Hotep says, media is so trash. With all the damage done by these propaganda machines, I don't think they could win back any trust. No, I don't. That's why I have to read every article, everything they write. And I don't care if it's on the right or the left. You have to read everything they write so carefully to see if they tell you the rest of the story somewhere in the article. You can't rely on headlines at all. You can't even rely on PolitiFact. I don't rely on them at all because they're just partisan trash. They will not ever say, it's so rare. If they say that something a Democrat is just straight up false, you know it's 100% straight up bullshit. But if they say a Democrat says something mostly false, you know it's straight up bullshit. So either way, because they will not ever disparage a Democrat. Anyway, so all the seven, here's the article that I was talking about. All Senate Democrats vote against borrowing taxpayer funds to fly illegal migrants to the U.S. towns, not from within the United States, but from outside the United States, because some of these people are making these asylum. Now, look. Okay, we'll get this. Every Democratic lawmaker in the Senate voted against an amendment that would bar taxpayer funds from being used to fly illegal aliens to U.S. towns and cities, according to the Republican senator behind the amendment. Quote, tonight, every single Democrat voted against my amendment that would stop the Biden administration from using taxpayer dollars to charter flights for hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens from their countries directly to American towns to be resettled, Republican Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty tweeted on Saturday morning. Indefensible, he's added. Hagerty announced earlier last week that he was set to file an amendment to the appropriations bill that would prohibit federal funds from being used to secretly fly illegal aliens from other nations directly into states across the country, according to this office's press release. Now, this is interesting because we talked about this before, how like 300,000, they've flown up to about 300,000 so far. Migrants, asylum seekers from other countries, from their home countries, just basically helping them avoid the middleman of going through Mexico or flying to Mexico from somewhere else in the world and bringing them directly here. Now, my question is, when they do that, are they technically illegal border crossers. I'm not sure. I mean, granted, even though, but my problem is, okay, they're making these asylum claims from where they are. Shouldn't they wait for that to be processed where they are, like the normal way for asylum claims? Why are you flying them here just because they make? Because every migrant who comes across the southern border, every single one, all 10, 9, 8 million, whatever it is so far, they're told along the journey, they have people coaching them to say, nope, you got to say all you got to know is one word: asylum. That's all you got to know. And they'll bring you in with open arms and process you and resettle you and whatever, feed you clothing, give you some, at some stage you get $9,000 a month or whatever, for not a month, but whatever it is. And so literally there are just passports littered on both sides of the border because they get rid of their passports because if you have a passport, then you have to have more, claim who you are. But when they do it this way, when the Biden administration brings them directly from their country, are they illegal migrants even? Well, of course they are. That's not the procedure to claim that's not the procedure to apply for asylum. There are actual cases where asylum seekers, the real ones, need to be flown here from their country. It is rare, but it exists. This would also block that. Probably why they voted against it. Well, maybe, but that's the problem. The only way you know if they're legal asylum seekers is to go through the normal process and determine whether they're legal before you fly them here. But again, right now, all you have to know to get it to be processed into the country is the word asylum. You don't have to know a single other word in English. All you got to say is asylum. Asylum. Asylum, man. And I'm just like, okay, so Democrats voted against barring taxpayer funding from flying illegal migrants. An illegal asylum seeker is not an illegal migrant, but the ones who are just using it to get in the country, they are illegal. So it's insane though. But the Democrats, all Senate Democrats, voted against it. Now, this has nothing to do with that, but we're just going to get some news stories and mix them in with some of these X stories. The first lady of New Jersey drops out of the Senate race to replace Robert Menendez, who's currently under a federal indictment. New Jersey's First Lady Tammy Murphy announced her withdrawal Sunday from a Senate race to replace Democratic Senator Robert Menendez, who is under federal indictment for bribery charges. Murphy took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to announce her decision and dropping out of the race, stating that while she took on the challenge to make change, she ultimately did not want the campaign to become divisive and negative. Why? Why? It's New Jersey. Every campaign is divisive and negative. What are you talking about? We like divisive and negative. So I wonder why she dropped out. Now, Andy Kim is running. He's a congressman, I think, who's running for that seat. And then Menendez says he's going to come back and run after this indictment as what he calls an independent Democrat. That shitbag. I don't know how he could even possibly win, but he might, because it's New Jersey, right? Everything's corrupt in New Jersey. Jersey is like poor man's Chicago. Anyway, or Illinois, whatever. So anyway, she's stepping out of the race. So now it's just Andy Kim running in that state. Moving on, ISIS was trending because of this attack in the Russian mall. And now there's two reasons it's trending, right? ISIS has claimed the attack, right? Claimed that they did the attack, breaking Russian Foreign Minister spokesman official statement. ISIS generally attacks enemies of the United States. This is a strange coincidence. I think the Russians might think that the CIA might be involved. But the other reason ISIS is trending, though, is because a lot of people on the left are bitching about Donald Trump. You cannot have something happen without somehow Trump being involved and your Trump derangement syndrome being activated. So a lot of people on the left said, well, I thought Donald Trump said he destroyed ISIS. Okay. And again, she attacks, and ISIS generally attacks enemies of the United States. This is a strange coincidence that that it happened to be ISIS that attacks Russia. But, and George Galloway, oh my God. UK member of parliament, George Galloway, who is behind this terrorist attack in Crocus. When the US, UK, and others quickly tried to convince me that it was only the ISIS that carried out this massacre in Moscow, I automatically knew that they were lying. George Galloway, I can't stand. I think he's an ass, but let's see. How did he know they were lying? And this is what I discovered. First of all, I discovered that no one has explained President Barack Obama's unannounced visit to meet British politicians and security officials in Downing Street 3 days before this terrorist crime was committed. Researching further, I discovered that Victoria Nuland, this harbinger of death, this angel of death who, if she approaches you, you can be sure that civil war is coming to your country. I saw her with my own eyes. She promised the Russians several unpleasant surprises in the coming weeks and months. I investigate further and discover that the White House Press Secretary John Kirby has announced that American citizens have been warned to stay away from crowded places, including shopping malls and theaters in Great Moscow, the greatest city in Europe. That's Galloway saying this, the capital of the largest country on earth. And now I have 4 pieces of evidence that lead me to believe that the United States, its NATO allies, and their puppet servant, the state of Ukraine, the stump state of Ukraine, are in fact responsible for this massacre. Well, that's saucy. If the CIA warned you 2 weeks before there's an attack, you can bet the CIA had something to do with funding it, Diggy. I was just thinking the same thing. George Galloway's a shitbag, but he's not stupid. Here's someone else. No, it wasn't ISIS. Aftermath of the Crocus terrorist attack in Moscow. I'm not buying it, neither are the Russians. In trying to deflect their guilt, the West has effectively confessed its involvement by blaming the CIA-backed and funded ISIS-K. Meanwhile, the CIA mouthpiece, the New York Times, attempts to rewrite history by claiming Russian authorities apparently did not take seriously enough public and more detailed private American warnings of imminent ISIS-K attack plotting, or were distracted by other security challenges. It's something convenient that the West is so sure ISIS was behind this terrorist attack before an investigation has concluded, but is still clueless as to who was behind Nord Stream after several investigations over a year and a half later. So I don't have a tinfoil kufi, but oh boy. That's a hat for those uninitiated. Yeah, how about that? Macron. But then Macron has no doubt ISIS acted alone in Moscow and warned Russia against using it to escalate the war in Ukraine. Oh, that's how convenient, Emmanuel Macron. And again, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman says ISIS generally attacks enemies of the United States. This is a strange coincidence. They suddenly they're attacking Moscow. Are there a lot of Muslims in Ukraine that the ISIS would be protecting? I'm not so sure about that. So anyway, now this is one of the terrorists who attacked Moscow. He looks like he's had a rough night in Russian jail. ISIS or Ukraine? Who knows? All right. That'll be the links. Moving on. Also trending is Meet the Press. Oh, my God. Oh, the wailing, caterwauling about the fact that Ronna McDaniel was hired by NBC News to be a political analyst, the former RNC chair. You know, they have other former RNC chairs, Michael Steele. They have other people that worked in the government, Jen Psaki and all the rest of them. In fact, Chuck Todd used to be, I think, a political consultant with NBC. But, oh, no, you hire Ronna McDaniel and you are helping the insurrectionists. Yes, the Trumpian maggots. You are hiring a liar. Now, remember, And Meet the Press, Greenwald. Greenwald's awesome. Meet the Press is where Dick Cheney sold the Iraq War 2 years after Lawrence Tribe claims they stole the 2000 election. NBC employs the spokesman of the Bush-Cheney White House and re-election campaign, but it's Ron McDaniel, who Trump supporters hate, who is the bridge too far. So here's Lawrence, because Lawrence Tribe, the Harvard law professor who was spectacularly wrong about the 14th Amendment case in the state of Colorado. I'm going to introduce him that way every time. Lawrence Tribe, who was spectacularly wrong on the 14th Amendment case in Colorado, said, I boycotted NBC's Meet the Press today, and I will do so until insurrectionist lowlife Ron McDaniel is no longer a so-called analyst at NBC. Wow. Wow. You're going to boycott the Meet the Press. I'm sure they're devastated, Lawrence. So anyway, they're pissed off about that. Now, raise your hand if you did not watch the Meet the Press today. Oh, you mean the picture of you have her sitting there, John Cooper, asswipe? But now, interesting, Chuck Todd on Meet the Press. Let's show you just a little clip. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not, but I don't care, because Chuck Todd attacked his own network.
Let me deal with
because they, look, people on the left are just furious about this, okay? They're just furious about it. And so Chuck Todd is trying to I don't know, what is he doing here? You tell me what you think this is.
the elephant in the room.
Elephant in the room.
I think our bosses owe you an apology for putting you in this situation, because I don't know what to believe. She is now a paid contributor by NBC News. Well, I have no idea whether any answer she gave to you was because she didn't want to mess up her contract.
Hold on. So he's saying because she's a paid contributor that whatever she says, she has to be careful not to mess up her contract. She knows what? What does she know? What do you have to know if you are a contributor on NBC or MSNBC? What do you have to know when you go in there to make sure that you can keep your job? You cannot buck the network's ideology. Is that what you're saying there, Chuck? What does that mean?
She wants us to believe that she was speaking for the RNC when the RNC was paying for her. So she has credibility issues that she still has to deal with.
Gee, Chuck, do you have any credibility issues? Of course, you weren't at Meet the Press for a while. But anyway.
Is she speaking for...
Does MSNBC and MSNBC have credibility issues? Russia. I mean, they haven't fired Rachel Madcow. She certainly has credibility issues, right? I'm just saying.
Herself, or is she speaking on behalf of who's paying her? Once
Interesting.
RNC, she did...
Does Dr. Fauci, does he tell the truth, or does he speak on behalf of who is paying him? Pfizer. Huh? How much in bonus did Pfizer pay Dr. Fauci? That's a question he refuses to answer. That's amazing. By the way, sponsor the show. Peanut Night Live over there. Sponsor. Anyway, yeah. So, because if you sponsor the show, I'll do whatever you tell me.
Say that. Hey, I'm speaking for the party. I get that. That's part of the job.
Okay.
So, what about here? I will say this. I think your interview did a good job of exposing, I think, many of the contradictions.
Okay.
And look, there's a reason why there's a lot of journalists at NBC News uncomfortable with this, because
uncomfortable. Oh my gosh.
Professional dealings with the RNC over the last
many of them are Democrat shills, and we don't want to talk to Republican shills.
6 years have been met with gaslighting. Have been met with
oh my God! Talk about gaslighting. Oh! Wait a minute. Aren't these the ones who defend Joseph Biden's mental facilities? Good God!
Assassination. So it is. That's where you begin here. And so,
yes, Chuck.
when NBC made the decision to give her NBC News' credibility, you got to ask yourself, what does she bring NBC News.
Well, what does she bring? She was the fucking chairman of the RNC, just like Michael Steele was. But, she might not think the same way you do, like Michael Steele does.
You make deals like this, and I've been at this company a long time. You're doing it for access. Access to audience. Sometimes it's access to an individual.
Nobody likes Ronna
and we can
McDaniel,
have
though.
a journalistic
Everybody hates
ethics
Ronna
debate about
McDaniel.
that.
She's like Chris. Everybody hates her.
I'm willing to have that debate. And
Are you, Chuck?
If you told me we were hiring her as a technical advisor to the Republican convention, I think that would be certainly defensible.
But not as an analyst.
We're talking to her.
She can't be a Michael Steele.
Let's see how she does in some interviews and maybe vet her with actual journalists inside the network. See.
Did you hear that? Who caught the phrase he just said? Vet her with actual journalists. Oh my! The venerable profession of actual journalists to vet her. Oh goodness gracious!
If it's a two-way, what she can bring the network. So I do think, unfortunately, this interview is always going to be looked through the prism of who is she speaking for.
Really?
Right? I think you did everything.
Maybe she's speaking for herself, her opinions. She's an analyst, you moron. Who does any analyst who you hire at NBC speak for? Most of them are just Democrat shills. That's who they speak for. What do you... God.
Everything you could do. You got put into an impossible situation. Booking this interview, and then all of a sudden the rugs pull out from under you. You find out she's being paid to show up.
Paid to show up? Yeah, she's hired as an analyst for NBC, just like all you fuckers. Oh my God, this is painful, painful. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Okay, thank you. Jimmy.Sojef sponsors the show, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. No, it's Avocados Diabli. Thank you. Who did I say? Did I say Jimmy? It's an Avocados Diabli. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Kangaroo. Credit Hillbilly. Use your damn words, man. Yeah, I know. I can't say fucking anything. I'm come on, man.
You know the thing.
Thank you, ED. Appreciate you. Okay, moving on, trending stuff. Oh my gosh, I need to get to the main topic. So anyway, that's why Ronna is trending also. That's why Chuck Todd is trending. That is why 60 Minutes too. All these news shows are trending because of some stupid shit. Apparently, now I always get messed up because one of these is 60 Minutes Australia, and the other is the 60 Minutes here, and I don't think they're related, for all I know. I don't know which 60 Minutes this is. Oh yeah, this is the one here. So Thomas Massey, it's trending because of what happened on 60 Minutes last night. Leslie Stahl was interviewing Jim Jordan or somebody. Thomas Massey, 60 Minutes is desperate and increasingly irrelevant. They're practically begging the government to throttle their competition and American voices. Meanwhile, the platform they're complaining about gives them unfettered access to its users. And so they're bitching about X, formerly Twitter, only responded to 30% of the notes from researchers flagging misinformation in posts, says Kate Starbird, the leader of the Misinformation Research Group. Oh my gosh, the Misinformation Research Group. They sound really super important. And then people are talking about this interview with Jim Jordan. Now, they keep showing the same 55 seconds. And I'm pretty sure, my guess is they don't, look, they edit their interviews really deceitfully on 60 Minutes. So you never know what the full answer is. This could have been a 3-hour in-person interview, but they'll clip it and cut it to make whoever they're talking to sound good or bad, depending on the party affiliation. So I don't know what this let's see what this 41 seconds is. They say that he gets owned by Leslie Stahl in this about some misinformation. Okay, so here we go.
Congressman Jordan argues that the tech companies shouldn't remove most of what they call misinformation.
They shouldn't. They have no right to do anything like that. It's not that the tech companies shouldn't do it. It's the federal government should not be asking the tech companies to do it. If the tech companies want to do it because they have some experts or whatever, they probably can do it on their own. But the problem is the federal government has asked the tech companies to remove people's misinformation.
People respect the American people, their common sense, to figure out what's accurate, what isn't.
Well, what about this idea that the 2020 election was stolen?
What about
You think
it?
that these companies should
What
allow
about
people
it?
to say that?
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Whether it's true or not, you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want. Yes, they should. And it's not a threat to democracy. Sorry, did I answer a question for him?
And individuals can make up their own mind, and that there should
I think
be.
the American people are smart. Look, I've not said that. What I've said is there were concerns about the 2020 election. I think Americans agree with that.
No, they don't.
Some
you
do.
don't think there were concerns with the 2020 election?
You think there's
Most
none?
people don't question the result.
Bullshit.
That's all I'm saying.
Most,
they don't question
what is
whether
most people?
Biden won or not. Right?
Now, notice,
Right.
this is a cut.
Most people don't question
okay.
the
No.
outcome.
Right.
Acts basic.
Okay, that's the clip? And then that's the clip? How does that own Jim Jordan? And oh my God. There are still plenty of people who now look, I don't. Because the results have never been vetted, so I can't. But do I think there's some shenanigans? I think there's some. There probably was. Like every election, yeah. Oh, that's like saying, oh no, Kennedy won fair and square in 1960. They didn't do anything in Illinois to fuck that up. The idea that the unattended ballot drop boxes were just, everyone took their one ballot and they walked over to them drop boxes and dropped them in one at a time. And all 6 states that stopped counting elections in the middle of the night all stopped at the same time and then all started back up at the same time. And, those vans full of ballots that came into the one place in Detroit, yeah, those were just ballots that they brought from other places because they decided to consolidate and count them all in one place. Yeah, that's what it was. They just, it was just perfectly normal that, all six states where, Trump was winning. Then all of a sudden they stopped counting. And then the next morning, Trump was losing all 6 of those states. It's amazing. What a coinky-dink. The probability of that is so incredibly infinitesimal, but I still believe it. So there you go. It was a perfect, pristine, the most secure election in history. That's definitely what it was. So anyway, that's why lots of the lefties are talking about 60 Minutes, but then a lot of people are putting some clips of where Leslie Stahl just completely lied about Donald Trump to his face, and Donald Trump kind of, whatever. So anyway, everyone's talking about 60 Minutes, and Leslie Stahl is also trending because of that. Now, I had a story that I was going to talk about that's important, and this is it, okay? Because this is something that's happening in Minneapolis. So it's happened somewhat in the state of California. And also similar things have happened in the state of Washington, particularly in Seattle. So here's the story I'll just do the legal insurrection because the main part of the story that I want to read is in this article too. But I put both articles up. There'll be the links at the end of the show that I'll drop in the chat. So Uber and Lyft are bailing on Minneapolis after the Democrat-run city council overrides the mayor's veto on minimum wage ordinance. Okay? So here's what happened. Democrats in Minnesota are scrambling to undo the damage done after the Minneapolis City Council passed a minimum wage ordinance related to transportation network companies, i.e. rideshare companies that work over the internet. Okay, these are independent contractors who use this to make money. It caused the rideshare giants Uber and Lyft to follow through on threats to leave the state's largest city. The city's Democrat mayor, Jacob Frey, he's an idiot, but he did veto this, had opposed the measure and vetoed it when it came across his desk. But the city council, which has 0 Republicans, 12 Democrats, 1 Democratic Socialist, and of America member, they easily overrode the veto despite Frey's objections and Uber and Lyft's public statements that they would cease operations should the ordinance become law. They're going to stop working here because, first of all, it'll be cheaper to take a cab again. Both rideshare companies released statements condemning the city council's vote. Uber says it will leave leave the entire metro area, including the airport, on May 1st when the ordinance becomes law. We are disappointed the council chose to ignore the data and kick Uber out of the Twin Cities, putting 10,000 people, there's 10,000 Uber drivers in the Twin Cities, by the way, out of work and leaving many stranded. And the reason you can't, there's a problem. Now, Lyft's not leaving completely, but we'll get to that. Because you can't guarantee someone who gets an Uber in St. Paul isn't going to Minneapolis, or someone who lives in Brooklyn Park isn't going to Minneapolis, or someone in Bloomington isn't going to Minneapolis, right? These are all suburbs of the Twin Cities. And so, you know, the airport's in Bloomington, but Uber's just going to leave completely. They're going to just shut down in the Twin City Metro. They continue, but we know that working together with all stakeholders, drivers, riders, and state leaders, we can achieve comprehensive statewide legislation that guarantees drivers a fair minimum wage, protects their independence, and keeps rideshare affordable. Lyft says it'll shut down operations in Minneapolis on May 1st, but it's unclear if service will be affected in the wider metro area like Uber's plan. The quote, the ordinance is deeply flawed and the rates it sets are far higher than what the state study suggested, Lyft's statement said. We support a minimum earning standard for drivers, but it should be done in an honest way that keeps the service affordable for riders. This ordinance makes our operations unsustainable, and as a result, we are shutting down operations in Minneapolis. When the law takes effect on May 1st, we will continue to advocate for a statewide solution in Minnesota that balances the needs of riders and drivers and hope to return Minneapolis as soon as possible. Now, it's interesting because this was not brought on by the riders. Hello, Hoko Sports. What's up? How you doing? That's a new name. Welcome to the show. Also, Anonymity T2, I'll be back. Aaron Meredith is here. Some people I didn't notice that popped in. I'm sorry. I usually say hi to everybody as they join the chat. All right. So anyway, as a result, some of the same members of the city council who pushed for the ordinance are now calling for it to be reconsidered and are also looking to the state to help rescue them. On Thursday, during a Minneapolis council meeting, council member Andrea Jenkins gave notice that she intended to move for reconsideration of the ordinance. Jenkins voted for the bill twice, first during initial approval, and then to override the veto. Now here's the funny thing about this. I'm guessing that some of these city councils probably use Uber and Lyft every once in a while and probably are just thinking, oh shit, they were serious. They are going to leave if we do this. On Thursday, Jenkins said that her motion to give council members a chance to make changes to bring about a broader resolution to the issue. She also said two council members, Aaron Chowdhury and Emily Koski, have been working with state lawmakers on a resolution. When Jenkins was asked by the local media why the council proceeded forward with the original ordinance prior to the release of a state transportation department report on ride-sharing income, instead of waiting to review it so the ordinance could be tweaked, she had no good answers. Duh. Despite the controversy, the council is now considering both the state data report on ride hailing driver wages and their own data. Fox 9 asked why city council members didn't wait on the data release before passing the ordinance in the first place. Quote, we had been waiting on this data for quite some time, Jenkins explains. I have been asking folks from the state personally, and there was no clear answer as to what was going on. Council Vice President Aisha Chugdai said she had no regrets about moving forward with the ordinance before getting the data. To be clear, none of us has any control over the actions of a multi-billion dollar corporation. They will do what they're going to do. We will do what's best for our city. Well, how is it best for your city if you're losing 10,000 Uber drivers? Do they think that the people who live in the city who use Uber are thinking that's a great idea? Chugdai, I should note, is a former campaign manager for Ilhan Omar. Yippee! All right. Adding to the pressures being put on the city council to reconsider, revise the ordinance is how Uber and Lyft leaving Minneapolis would impact the elderly and disabled. Oh, we're using some intersectionality to fight their own city council. Minneapolis City Council, you own this. Answer to every disabled Minnesotan who no longer has transportation due to your hubris and bad governance. Ouch, babe. Ouch. Here's another one. Minneapolis forces higher wages for Uber and Lyft. They pull out of the city. Now there are worries the handicapped will lose the ability to travel. Socialism is the theory that you help vulnerable people by eliminating their jobs and making things unaffordable for them. You know, there's a look. And also, you're just putting a lot of minorities out of work. You know how many? It's all, man. You ride Uber, man, in Minneapolis. It's almost all Somalis. Now you're killing their income. Wait a minute. Could that hurt Ilhan Omar? I don't know. Am I rethinking this? No, anyway. In 2023, Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz vetoed similar legislation after Uber said at the time they would have no choice but to pull out of Minnesota. In a letter Thursday announcing the veto, Walz said that rideshare drivers deserve fair wages and safe working conditions, but said that this is not the right bill to achieve their goals. Look, safe working conditions? You mean their brakes work right or something? Safe working conditions? What are you talking about? Anyway, he also argued that the bill would have made Minnesota one of the most expensive states in the country for rideshare. Well, I don't know about that. A similar ordinance for the Seattle City Council that went into effect at the first of the year also backfired, with DoorDash and Uber Eats drivers complaining their workload had declined as a result of residents deleting the apps off their phones over elevated fees that made meal deliveries way too expensive. Well, imagine that. Speaking of which, that's the next article I have right here. So this is what happened in Seattle. And then we'll finish up after this. I got a bunch of articles, but I'm not going to get to them. West Coast, woke Seattle suspends law of supply and demand, ruins an industry. So here's what they did in Seattle. This week we discovered that Gavin Newsom doesn't want to talk about what a terrific job he's doing for California taxpayers. Oh, the woke Portland DA gets a wake-up call. Oh, so woke Seattle suspends the law of supply and demand, and we say goodbye saying it. Because this is of several go woke, go broke issues, but let's just talk about the one in Seattle. Where is it? Okay, here it is. What's worse, making a decision that basically destroys an industry, or when confronted with a spectacular failure, refusing to fix it because it's too hard? Please put your answer in the comments below. In Seattle, Washington, the woke city council members decided they needed to meddle in the pay scale of local gig delivery workers, like Uber Eats drivers. The Pay Up program for app drivers was a Byzantine minimum wage that was supposed to net drivers a $26 an hour minimum wage. The minimum wage formula for app drivers looks like this. Now let's see if you have let's see if you get your little internal calculators going here. Engaged time per minute amount plus engaged miles times mile amount equal minimum network company payment. A per minute amount is minus 38 cents. The per minute amount would ensure that app-based workers receive at least the total of a minimum wage equivalent rate multiplied by an associate cost factor multiplied by an associate time factor for the engaged time to perform an offer. The amounts at each rate and or factor would depend on applicable law or director rules. For example, in 2022, the amounts would be minimum wage equivalent rate minus 0.288. The minimum wage equivalent rate would provide a per minute equivalent of Seattle's hourly minimum wage for the Schedule 1 employers, i.e. large employers with more than 500 employees worldwide. Associate cost factor, $1.12. The associated cost factor, okay, let me just break this down because this is stupid. I'm not going to read this because you can't figure it out. So someone in the city did that math, right? Then it goes on for I was only like a third of the way through it. But you don't need to know any math to understand that even the mighty city of Seattle, with all its socialist good intentions, can't suspend the law of supply and demand. Suddenly, Uber Eats and DoorDash drivers became the ticket master of delivery drivers. The second law went into effect on January 2024. Shocked customers were suddenly on the hook for $26 cups of coffee, Reason magazine reports that customers got hit with $32 sandwich bills. And then, remember there was a burrito. In Reason, I think they broke it down. Here's the article in Reason. Seattle law mandating higher driver pay is a disaster. Let's look at here. Let's see what they have in here. All right. Local news station King 5 reported that Seattle residents started deleting their delivery apps from their phones in response to the spiking exorbitant delivery prices. Uber Eats experienced a 30% decline in order volume in the city, while DoorDash reported 30,000 fewer orders. They had some in here. I thought this is the article. Oh, here we go. So, first, the delivery companies were forced to add a $5 fee onto delivery orders in the city to cover the sudden labor cost increase. On cue, news stories started popping up of $26 coffees, $32 sandwiches, $35 Wingstop orders, in which taxes and the new fee comprised nearly 30% of the total. Now, wait a minute. Taxes and a $5 fee were 30% of the total. Well, where do the taxes go to? It's not, do the taxes go to the driver? Do the taxes go to the restaurant? I bet they don't. I'll bet you they don't. Anyway, again, it's the cost of good intentions. I'm telling you. Remember our $22 burrito-nomics lesson last week? One guy complained on Reddit that his $8 burrito magically became a $25 burrito with all the apps, with the fees, tips, and extras thanks to the change in the law. Another person did an experiment with his favorite pad thai dish. Out of curiosity, I checked how much it would be to get an order of pad thai from a restaurant a couple miles away. A $15 pad thai ends up being $25 before tip. If I want it sooner than 40 minutes from now, it's another 4 blocks. So after that and tip, it's $35 for an order of flavored noodles. So anyway, the good intentions of these city councils trying to get the Uber drivers a little more money is probably not getting them any more money, but it's sure getting them, well, in fact, it's getting them no money because Uber and Lyft are leaving. So there you go. All right, let's run through headlines that I have set up here that I just not going to get to today. The president of Mexico has threatened to worsen the illegal immigration crisis if the United States does not cave to his demands. Let me just give you a couple examples that I saw in this article. The president of Mexico's proposal for stemming immigration from the Mexico side of the border is only going to happen if the U.S. commits $20 billion a year to poor countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, if the United States limits or lifts sanctions on Venezuela, if the United States ends the Cuban embargo, which I'm not even sure why we still have a Cuban embargo. I don't know. I'm curious about that one. And then also, we must legalize law-abiding Mexicans living in the United States. Well, which ones are those? Are they the ones who are not, that crossed our border illegally, or the ones that have been doing it the correct way for years? See, I don't know what that means, legalize law-abiding Mexicans living in the United States. Well, if they're law-abiding Mexicans, which I'm happy to have Mexicans in the United States as long as they've done it legally. So I'm curious what the fuck he means by that. Anyway, he's blackmailing Joe Biden, and Joe Biden will cave probably and whatever. So anyway, other headlines in PJ Media, more immigration stuff. Apparently, the Border Patrol chief says the 140,000 migrants who evaded capture are a national security risk. Oh my gosh, you think? You think? Oh, what is there? Do I have? What can I put for that one?
You are so dumb. You are really dumb.
Yeah. sounding the alarm. The huge number of illegals who have crossed the border. Jason Owens says that there have been at least 140,000 migrants who have evaded apprehension and crossed the border illegally just in the last 5 months. That they think they've estimated 140,000 didn't stay asylum. They just got in and evaded the fucking border patrol. Gee, I wonder if they might be a national security threat. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So if you want to read about that. Daily Wire, White House responds to footage of illegal immigrant border charging. Okay, remember they had the guys who rushed the National Guard in Texas? Well, of course, this is Donald Trump's fault, according to the Biden administration. The Biden administration responded to the viral video showing a large group of illegal immigrants charging the Texas National Guard troops at the U.S. southern border on Thursday, telling the Daily Caller that former President Donald Trump is to blame for the chaos. Okay, they're going to try to. I guarantee you. Well, what they're saying here is because, see, Donald Trump did not like that border bill that they came up with in the Senate. Of course, now remember, there's still a House border bill that they passed at the beginning of the year. Was it the beginning of the year? Maybe it was the beginning of last year. HB2. That was a border security bill that the Senate hasn't taken up. They're not blaming them. But anyway, they're saying when the former president told congressional Republicans to block the bipartisan border security agreement, he said to blame him for it. Well, he got his wish, and the result was chaos after Governor Abbott's Operation Lone Star and Razor Wire were overrun yesterday, the statement had. So they're, oh my God. But I bet they all know the word asylum, though. In fact, here's the thing. You know the thing. They ended up processing all of those people and just let him stay. Yeah, perfect, eh? Did I just close a tab? Yes, I did. Now, this is interesting, though. Now, there's a CNN analyst. We talked about the Russian thing, the Russian terror attack that they said ISIS committed the attack. A CNN analyst said Biden bears responsibility for ISIS attacking Russia. I don't think I have that. Oh, they didn't put the clip. On Friday, we know they attacked the Crocus City Hall near Moscow. On CNN's AC360, this is CNN. CNN national security analyst Peter Bergen, who was originally skeptical that ISIS carried out the attack, suggested that if ISIS-K did indeed attack the Russian concert hall, it would reflect poorly on Joe Biden. ISIS-K, or Islamic State Khorasan, is the Afghanistan-based branch of the Islamic State terrorist organization, citing Biden's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Bergen said it would be very embarrassing for the Biden administration if it turned out that ISIS-K had sort of regrouped to the extent that they can reach out to other countries and carry out major attacks. But again, why the F? Because now after hearing that stuff earlier, I'm like, why the F would they go after Russia? I'm doing that Will Smith thing. No, not the getting pounded from behind. Anyway, interesting. Vanity Fair says Donald Trump is a violent threat to democracy. Oh, and water is wet, despite its own sources disagreeing. That's in the article in National Pulse. In Breitbart, State Farm is discontinuing 72,000 home policies in California in a latest blow to the insurance market. Why are they doing that? They will discontinue coverage of 72,000 houses and apartments in California starting this summer, the insurance giant said this week, 9 months after announcing it would not issue new home policies in the state. The Illinois-based company, California's largest insurer, cited soaring costs and increasing risk of catastrophes like wildfires and outdated regulations as reasons it won't renew the policies on 30,000 houses and 42,000 apartments, the Bay Area News Group reported. I don't know where specifically these are, but Gavin Newsom's probably going to sue them, because, that's Gavin Newsom. Kamala Harris claps along. Oh, this was great. I'm going to finish with this one because I got to go. So Kamala Harris claps along to a Puerto Rican protest song until she realizes it's about her. So here it is. Kamala Harris mindlessly dances to song protesting her visit to U.S. colony of Puerto Rico and stops clapping once her aide translated. So here's what they're saying. We want to know, Kamala, what did you come here for? We want to know what you think of the colony. It's a protest song against her, but she's clapping along. Here it is.
Queremos saber, queremos saber, queremos saber, Kamala, que lo que
there he is. Now, the guy next to her is clapping. Apparently, he doesn't know either. Oh, it's not. That's not good for me. That's not good for me. All right, there's a whole bunch more articles that'll be in the links. It's in my one tab link. It'll be in the chat during the outro, which will have everything that we did on the show listed on one page. So you just click the link and they're all there. That's it, guys. I gotta go. It's birthday week, and some people have already thrown some money in the pot for birthday week. Thank you, JB, Jimmy Das Hotep, Advocatus Diaboli for sponsoring the show. Also, please hit the like button. 37 people, only 23 likes. Now, come on. Before you go, hit the like button and then share the stream after the show. It doesn't have to be before. It can be after the show. If you do it after the show, it is just as valid as if you do it before the show. Maybe someone will watch a replay and they'll be like, hey, I got to go check this out. Let's see what's happening over there. And so that's what'll happen if you share the stream, and that's all we ask for. So that's it. Got to go. Thank you. My name is, I'll put the link to the links in the chat in a minute. Thank you. Gotta go. My name's P-Dog Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye. Bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.